Hello, I'm Tilly Douglas, and today I want to show you how I make these Rolodex junk journals. Now, people ask what you use them for, and you can use them for all sorts of things. You can actually use them for a calendar, so you can put your month's dates in little tabs and just use it, all your things that you need to remember, like birthdays and appointments and all that sort of thing. So you can have your dates all along in little tabs, and then put your appointments and birthdays and things like that tucked in these little spaces, which works really well, and it's just lovely to have on your desk. Or you can use it to put your ephemera in it. When I'm making a junk journal, sometimes all the little bits of ephemera that I want to put in, as I'm working through my journal, I put them in the journal as I'm working on it, and then I take them out and just tuck them into here, so I remember the order that they went in the journal. So that works really, really well for that. And it's just a nice thing to have on your desk, really. So this is the previous one I made, and it's got lots of nice little bits and pieces. This is one of the beads I've made. I've got a video on this, a tutorial on how I make these, and also this one at the top here, which I think is really pretty. So I've got a video on that. I'll link that below. And then I've just hung some this little bird cage, which is really, really pretty. I love this. And then I've got a little lock on here with a key, and just some little dangly charms, a little bird and flower and some lace. And down here, just a little tiny little chair, which I think is adorable. Just a little charm, tiny little rocking horse, and some little bottles with polymer clay around them, and another one here, little teddy bear in the corner, and just some trim to give it a nice little edge around here. Just some tiny little buttons. You can put anything you like on him. So there's a little teacup here, and then on the edges there's some little charm here, little clock with a little fairy in the middle, and then some little embellished metal embellishments on the edges, a little lady I cut out, and then I use glossy accents to put over the top. So a little washi tape to hide the edges, and on the back I've put some washi tape along the bottom, and then this little saying, which I got this off Creative Fabrica. And it says, when I breathe in, I welcome the strength of spirit. When I breathe out, I share this with the world, which I think is just lovely. Some little rose trim across here on top of some lace, and some little tiny dragonflies and some roses to finish it off. And this is wallpaper. I got this out of one of those wallpaper sample pads. I got quite a lot of those, so I love that. So I really liked it. It's nice copper and bronzy colour. So that's one of the ones I've made, and I just think it's adorable. Now, the one I've made in this video is this one. So this is the one I'm going to show you how I made today, and in the next video I will show you how I decorate it all. So that's it all finished, and it just looks lovely. I love this fabric, absolutely beautiful. So that's my Rolodex that I'm making in this video, and I show you exactly how I did it step by step, so hopefully you'll know how to make them, and in particular these ends. And I'll show you what this tape is and how I've used it and everything I've done to make it. So let's get on with it. So to start off with, we're going to choose which book we want, and to be honest, it really doesn't matter. Preferably a hardcover, because obviously it needs to stand up and has to have some rigidness to it, so some sort of hardcover preferably. Now for this one I used one of these sort of books. It's just a Reader's Digest, and people are asking what amount of pages you need, but again, it doesn't really matter. You can use whatever you want. This one, which is a very similar one to the one I use here, has got about 510 pages, so that would have been about the same size. The one I'm going to use today is slightly bigger in size but less pages. So this one has got 276 plus, you know, a few extras at the front and back, and the size of them, so this is the one, the type I used for this, so it's the same size, and that is about 8 inches by 5.5, and that makes this size book, this size Rolodex. And this book is 9.5 by about 6 inches. So I'm going to just start folding it, and then you'll see exactly how it all comes together. So put those out of the way because we don't need those. So you just decide on the size of the book of what you want, so you can use any size you want. And I'm just for now going to leave that page because I don't know whether I want to use that or not. So I'm not going to fold that one, and it's very, very simple. Just take it to the center, give it a crease, and that one's done. Now you can use a bone folder if you want, makes the creases a bit more defined. So you can just get your bone folder and give it a little slide across if you want. But all you're doing is you're going through the whole of the book, lining. I like to make sure that they're straight at the edges here, so you know it's lined up nicely. Right to the middle, give it a good crease, and go through the whole of the book like that. I tend to do single pages. You can do, if you want, you can do 3 or 4 pages or whatever you want and fold them like that, which I know some people do that, but I tend to fold 1 page at a time. It's just how I prefer to do it, so you can do it whatever way you want. And I just crease them with my nail like that. So I'm going to go through the whole book and fold every single page. Generally takes about 20-30 minutes to fold these pages of a book, but you can do it while you're sat watching telly or watching YouTube videos. I usually watch YouTube videos. And when you get further along in the book, it does get a bit more difficult because obviously this gets very thick and bulky, so you tend to get something like that and put on them, and it just makes it a little bit easier to work with. So I'll just continue folding all these pages, and then I'll meet you at the other end when I finish them. So as you can see, it does get quite bulky as you're folding all your pages in half. So what I sometimes do is get a piece of elastic, a big wide elastic, and wrap around the whole book and then tuck it in as I'm going along. Or you can just turn the book around and hold it down and then fold them into that fold, so you're holding these pages back as you go in. So that's one way you can do it. You can use binder clips to clip these, and you can also start on the other end of the book, at the back of the book, so you're holding this down as you go. So just fold. It doesn't matter you fold in the opposite way, it doesn't matter at all. And you don't have to glue these down, they're not going to go anywhere, they'll just stay in position. So then you can start going that way. So just find whichever works best for you, really. I just wanted to tell you that before I finished the book. So it's a lot easier because then all these aren't in your way. You're just able to push that down and hold them out of the way. So just find what method works best for you. And I'll just carry on until I've finished. So that's the book all folded, all the pages folded in half, and it's nice and full. Now you can either have it where the book cover is flat, you can leave it like this if you want, or you can have it at an angle like that, or you can bring it right up and have it so the back cover is straight up, which is how I've got this one. So the back cover sits straight up. So the choice is yours, really, and how you decide on the angle is these end pieces. So you make an end piece, which I'll show you how I did mine, to go in here, and then you fix it so it's in the position that you want it to sit at. Now what I would usually do, which I haven't done this time, is I'd usually cover the book first. Now I think I'll just go ahead and do that because you probably know how to cover the book. I'm just going to use some fabric. I'm going to use this fabric here, and I'm just going to cover the outside of the book. So put that on there like that, which will just fit nicely, just enough, just wide enough. And then I'm going to cover it like this, and then what I'm going to do with these inside pages, the black inside pages, is stick those onto there. So I'm just going to go ahead and cover that, and I'm going to use my fabric tack to stick that on. So I'll go ahead and finish that off, and then I'll come back to you and show you how I do the ends. So I've just stuck the fabric onto the cover, and now I'm just going to tuck these edges in and stick these down. And the way I do this is I don't cut it across the corner, I actually stick the corner in, and it just fills that corner in nicely. You don't have any gaps then. I'm going to have to get some more fabric tack glue. I'm getting quite low on this. So take that corner in, right on the very corner, so you've got the point here. And that's the book cover, all nicely covered in its fabric. So my next step now, I'll just leave it to let dry a little bit, but my next step now is to cut out the pieces that are going to fix onto these edges to hold this into position. So now we're moving on to the ends, and this is the part that everybody's struggling with, and I think it is the most difficult part. But what I tend to do is I get it in the position that I want the book. So if I want it stood up like this, I'll get it in that position, and then I'll get just a piece of copy paper, some printer paper. This is just a scrap one because I do flaff with this a bit. And I just put it on the paper and hold that in the position where I want it, at the angle that I want the book to sit at. And then I'll just roughly draw where these pages are, where the cover is, and then around the book pages. So this is just a very rough copy, and I typically draw on the inside cover as well. And then I've got a basic shape. Now obviously it's very rough, so I'll just take this line out a little bit because this is on the pages, and I like it to be, I don't know if you can see this one, where that end part is just slightly raised above the pages. So I like to have this a little bit bigger than the actual pages themselves. So I just take that line out, probably ½ centimetre, and just roughly draw around it like that. To there. And then this part here, I don't want the ends to come beyond here, so I just take that in a little bit. And like I say, I do flaff with this a bit just to get it where I want it to be. So I'll just take that round like that and follow that line down, just to give me a very rough guide. So this line now is the inside of this cover. And then I take these lines down slightly and out right to the edge. And the same here. Just give it a little bit of an angle, because these are what's going to stick this part on. And take that down. So that's the shape we've got. And then I just come in and cut this shape out. I fold these on this line here. So I've got something like that. And I take my book at the angle. This is where it gets a little bit difficult. Now you can put a rubber band around it or something to hold it in position. But what I tend to do is just bring these forward and tuck that in there. Hold it in position and bring that side forward and tuck it in there. And then bring those ends back in. And that's looking pretty good. So there's my end. So I'm quite pleased with that. And I use a piece of chipboard. This is just a piece of board that was at the back of a card pad. So I like to use quite thick, but you could actually use anything really, any sturdy cardboard. And I just draw around that. And then what I typically do is flip that over and draw it that way on, just so they're equal, so they're both exactly the same. Because it might have a slightly different angle on it, but if you do flip that over, they're going to be the same way round. There's our two shapes. Well, I'll tell you what I just like to do. Just like to mark where I folded them. So I mark it on the outside first. And then I transfer that line to the inside. So when we cut it out, we've still got that line. There. And I have it on my cutting mat, and I have quite a sturdy cutting knife, which I like to use. So I just start scoring it. I don't try to go straight through the first cut. I just do it gradual. So when I'm doing the curved part, I'd go very lightly and just do a very faint line with the knife. Just so I get a nice even curve. Once you've been over it once and you've got a little bit of a line there to follow, then it's easier to come in and do the deeper lines. I just take my time with this part because there's no rush. I'd rather get it right and take my time. So when I've got to that stage, I usually come in with my scissors, and then I can easily then cut along those lines. Don't want to be going all the way through, although it's not all the world if you do, because I've got some fabulous tape that I will be putting over these score lines anyway. So don't worry if it snaps, because I've got tape that will sort that, which I will show you in just 2 ticks when I've done this part. So that's that one. And just do the same with this one. I'm just going very lightly with this knife each time I go across, and then just fold it a little bit. There, that's those done. So clear all this out of the way. Just leave my scissors, I'll need those. So then what I do, usually where I've scored it here, I would fold it the other way so that goes in there, but I don't do that with this because it's likely to just break. So what I do here is I use this, and it's sports tape. So what athletes use with when they've got muscle problems, and I just get it off Amazon. But this is brilliant stuff. I use this for so many different things, and it's just fabulous. So I just cut a little bit of that off, and I use that on there to just give that a little bit of a hinge. So then if that breaks, it's fine, because we've got this that's supporting it, and this sticks really, really well. So I'll cut another little piece for this one. Be careful, it does stick to itself. It's very, very sticky, which is why we like it for this. So just stick that on there, and I'll do the other one. I mean, this is just what I use. I mean, if you've got a better sort of tape, just use whatever you've got, but this is what I've got, which I buy in, especially for doing this sort of thing and for doing spines on my journals and all that sort of stuff. It's just brilliant. It's really good stuff. So I use it a lot. And you can get this in different colours. There. And then what I do is I put my book up on its end and do the same as I did before. And you're going to have to push this down a bit, and it may snap, but don't worry, because you've got this holding it. That's absolutely fine. We're just going to press that down and put it in position. And that is going to sit like that. Now what I also use is some glue. This is my art glitter glue. This is a fab glue. I use it for a lot of things. It's called art glitter. It hasn't got glitter in it. It's just a really, really good glue. So I do two things. I use the glue, and I also use more of that tape. So I've just put that out of the way, and I put some of this on there. Actually, I'll use it out of the bottle, because that's got a bit clogged, I think. I've got some more of this on order as well, because I haven't got a lot of this left. So I've got some more ordered. So on those two. And then I cut some more of this tape. I get everything ready before I put the first one on, because you have to hold it in position. So I don't want to have to be cutting tape whilst I'm trying to hold that together. Which I found out the hard way. So that's my tape. I'll also put my glue on this one. And take the first piece. Hold those pages together. Could do with 4 hands here. Then I get a bit of that tape, and I just stick it on the back. Try to make it so it doesn't come above these pages. So it just takes a little bit of playing with. Bring that closed. And then press it all together. And hold it in position and do the other side. Once you've got the first one on, it's a lot easier. Oh, look what I've done. So push that right up into there, against the back edge. Fold that down and then press it all together, like that. Give it a good press. And press that tape down in the back there. And this side. And I just tend to hold that together until it's dried a little bit. Easier to do it that way, actually. So you can see that's the angle it's at and how it's actually going to sit. So what I tend to do to hold it in position is to get a masking tape, stick it on that back and bring it right round. And that holds it all really securely. There. And that's going to hold that lovely. And I can turn upside down and do the other side, because I can still get to that side. So I'll put my tape on. Like that. And then pull those pages back and drop it down into there. And then the same with this side. So this is the fluffy part. This is the part that takes just a little bit of trying to figure out, working out. And like I say, you could do with 4 hands really, but you can do it. Just takes a little bit of jiggling around. There. Oh, it's just come out of. That's better. Get it in position. Get that tape stuck in there. And that's that side on. So what I just tend to do is come in with a bit of masking tape. And stick that around that end. Just to hold it all together. Because it's just going to come off. You can take it off, it'll come off the fabric. It won't do any damage. And just cut that with my scissors. There. And make sure it's in position. I mean, mean, you can prop this against books or anything to hold it in position. Just find whatever's easiest for you. But I find just putting masking tape all over it like that works really, really well. There. And then I'll just put that to one side and let it all dry. So something else I just wanted to mention was, if you've got pages with images on, you can see it's going to show up in here. See, this has got no images and it's all just text. But if you've got images, you're going to get these colours, which I don't mind at all. I quite like that on there. But it's just something to think about. So my next thing would be to come in and do all the designs, cover these ends up, and finish it all off. You could cover these, I mean, I use the inside covers for these. You don't have to at all. You can use whatever you want. This was wallpaper that I did these with. I used the wallpaper on the back. And then I stuck a piece across here and across here after I'd covered it. So that's how I did that one. You can use magazine cuttings or whatever you want, your cardstock, fabric, anything. So I've left this with the black back covers, so then I can just decorate it as I want. So that's how I make my accordion books or Rolodex books. So I do hope that's helped you. And what I'll do is I'll leave that there because I don't want it to be too long of a video, because I know you'll get bored. So what I'll do is finish it off in another video. So I'll do all the decorating and all that, and I'll make another video how I do that. So I do hope you enjoyed that video. Please click the like button if you did, and also consider subscribing to my channel. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.